Hello people of YouTube and welcome to a different kind of video. So this is not a nanny life update. So as you can tell from the title, I just want to do this video. A fellow subscriber, a fellow viewer of mine called Hufflepuff Geek wanted me to do this video, basically talking about what my overall thoughts on the Harry Potter HBO TV series that's meant to be coming out at some point, I believe next year, because I've mentioned it several times in my Narnia videos. So yes, I just want to cover basically my overall thoughts so far on it, my overall thoughts on the Harry Potter series. Of course, if you know me, I am a big Potterhead. I have been a fan of Harry Potter from the very beginning. I've read all of the books from Philosopher's Stone up to Deathly Hallows. I have read Cursed Child, which I'll touch on as well, but I've read the main books, and I'm proud to say that I was part of the Harry Potter generation. When the first film came out, I was 6. I was 6 years old, and I was 16 when Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out. So it defied my childhood. And, for me, when I go back and read the books, I imagine Daniel Radcliffe as Harry. I imagine Rupert Grint as Ron. I imagine Emma Watson as Hermione. So, in a nutshell, I'm excited for the series, which I'm going to touch on. I am excited for the series, but it's going to be very hard for me. I'm very conflicted. Personally, what I would have done, I know the hype around Harry Potter is still huge. Obviously, we saw that with Hogwarts Legacy because it did really well. Personally, what I would have done, I would have either continued on with Fantastic Beasts. I know that the film series wasn't doing great, but we were promised 5 movies. We only got 3. I wish they would have continued on with that. My only nitpick with Fantastic Beasts was it should have focused on Newt, and the first film did, but then the second and the third film focused more on Dumbledore and Grindelwald. It's like if you wanted to tell their story, you shouldn't have put Newt in there. So I kind of felt like Newt was sidelined in his own movie, which is really weird. I know that there was a lot of problems behind the scenes as well, with the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, the whole drama with Ezra Miller. The box office numbers weren't great, so I understand why they're not continuing on with it. But there is other stuff that they can do. The Harry Potter universe is huge. There's other stories that they can do. For example, they could have done a story about the founders. Godric Gryffindor, Salazar Slytherin. They could have done a story about the founders of Hogwarts. They could have done a Young Marauders series, about James and Lily and Snape and Sirius, when they were in Hogwarts. They could have done a full series about that. They could have done a full series about Tom Riddle, his time growing up. I know that, we've seen some flashbacks in the films. We're probably going to see a bit of it in most, if not all of it, in the series, but that's not till Half-Blood Prince. They could have easily done a Tom Riddle prequel. There's so much more stories. They even could have done a Cursed Child film at this point. Cursed Child, for me, the story's not great, and I think a lot of fans stand beside that fact. I'm not judging it based on the stage play because I've not seen it on stage, but I have read the script book that they released, and it took me so long to get through it. Personally, I don't really consider Cursed Child canon. I know it is, but I don't consider it canon, really. For me, the story ended in the 19 years later part. The one thing I am excited for Cursed Child, which was it was announced yesterday on Draco's birthday of all days. But yeah, Tom Felton is returning to play Draco in the West End Broadway production of Cursed Child, which I'm super happy for. I'm hoping that's a hint that he might hopefully make an appearance somewhere in the HBO series, I'm hoping. But beside the point, I would have been all up for a Cursed Child film only if all the original cast members came back, and I don't think they will, not with the whole controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling. And I think because of the story-wise, I don't think a lot of fans really want Cursed Child done into a movie. I'm surprised that they didn't do it into a movie, but, I would have been happy with that. So the fact that we're getting a TV series based on the 7 books, Philosopher's Stone up till Deathly Hallows, yes, I am I'm excited in a way because we're going to see more of the book. You know, the films are very constricted with time. You have a 2 hour, 2.5 hour film. Even, I think the longest film is like 2 hour, 40 something minutes. Even then, you're very constricted with time. You know, in a series, if you've got 10 episodes in a season, an hour long, that's 10 hours. You have so much more time. You can have episodes where you can put stuff in that don't really necessarily affect the plot. So I'm excited to see a lot more from the book. You know, they cut so much out of the movies. I'm not saying the movies are perfect, they're not. But because of that nostalgia, because I grew up with them, you know, all 8 films have that place in my heart. They always will do. You could say that I am being biased because of that. So don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see more of the book, 100%. You know, they cut out Peeves, they cut out pretty much Charlie, they cut out him, they cut out all the thing with SPW, you know, Sir Headless Nick, his Death Day party, they cut out so much. So yeah, in the series we probably are going to see that. But because I'm so used to the movies and the cast for the movies, it's so hard for me to see anybody else playing any role. Don't get me wrong, I've seen the image of the 3 kids. Don't get me wrong, they look adorable. They all 3 of them look the part. I know that a lot of people are criticising about the Hermione casting, but honestly, that doesn't bother me. I know the main gripe of the series is the casting of Professor Snape, that Paparazzi, which I'll talk about in a second. But in terms of the kids, they look the part, you know, and I wish them all the best in the world. Now, before I continue, I don't want any negative comments on this video. At the end of the day, these 3 kids, they're kids. You know, just positive comments and thoughts only in the comments, please. But, you know, they're kids. They're gonna have to deal with it so much worse than Daniel, Emma and Rupert did. When Daniel, Emma and Rupert were cast, this was probably 2000. There was no social media. The internet wasn't really a big thing. There was no Facebook, no Twitter, no TikTok, nothing. Whereas now, social media is like a part of everyday life. You know, so the kids are going to have to deal with that. So I kind of feel sorry for them in a way. Don't get me wrong, I wish them all the best. You know, and I really hope they do well in the roles. As, you know, I wish all the cast the best. But it's just because I just have that connection to the movies. It's just going to be so hard for me. This is why I'm so conflicted. Because I will always choose the films, but then I am interested in the series because we are going to see stuff that we've not seen before. I don't know, I'm just so conflicted. It's hard for me to really say what my thoughts and opinions are really of it. I know this is going to be a long video. The casting of Paparazzi does worry me. Again, no negative comments. It does just worry me. If they end up sticking with him, fair enough. I just worry about how that might affect some story elements. But, you know, we shall see about that. But I don't know, I'm so just conflicted, basically, about the whole thing. I just wish they would have told other stories. You know, there is other stories in the Wizarding World beside Harry's story. So like I said, I will be watching the series because if the series is due to start filming in July, I will be watching the series. I'm just very conflicted about it. You know, I'm going to hopefully see how it goes, but I'm just very conflicted about the whole thing in general, really. I don't think we needed a reboot. I don't think it was necessary. I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I just feel it's too soon. I know we had, you know, people of my age, this makes me sound so old, but people of my age, we had our Harry Potter, you know, which was the films. This upcoming TV series is for the current generation, so it's going to be their Harry Potter. But the films are so beloved, you know, it's just going to be so weird. Like I said, I wish the kids and the cast all the best. And I will be, obviously, well, I won't be doing videos like I do with the Narnia franchise, but I'll be keeping up to date with, like, the news and stuff like that. Because there's rumours about the casting of Ginny and stuff like that at the moment floating around, so I am interested. I'm just very, very conflicted. So what are your thoughts on the new HBO TV series for Harry Potter will you be watching? Are you not interested? Leave your thoughts down below. I know this is a very sensitive sort of topic for a lot of fans out there. But yeah, I just thought I'd do this video just expressing my thoughts, really. I might feel completely different when the TV series comes out, but I think because of my connection to the films, I think I will always choose the films. You know, Daniel, Emma and Rupert, even now, you know, the final film came out in what, 2011, 2012? I think it was 2011, the Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out. It came out 14 years ago. And the films are still beloved to this day, and I think they always will be. I think, you know, even in 10, 20, 30 years' time, people are still going to be watching the movies, even if the series is here. But you know, obviously, only time will tell. We'll see how the future goes for the series. Like I said, I do wish the cast and the kids all the best. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the series? Let me know down in the comments. This was just a quick video, which I thought was interesting to talk about. So yeah, let me know down below what you think, and thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Obviously, if you're into movies and stuff, I do cover movies on this channel. Obviously, I do have all of these. I do want to do reviews for all of these, by the way, at some point. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the series? Let me know down in the comments. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.